Good morning. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. It's nice and early. I'm actually trying cold coffee today. Don't know if you guys have ever tried cold coffee, what your thoughts are on it. Love to hear that. Um, Mostly I've been drinking green teas and a little bit of coffee here and there. Anyway, let's talk about the natural zoo verdict, because that's what we're here for. Absolutely fascinating. I have been fascinated with this case ever since it came out because it gives us a look behind the curtain and a way to see what's happening in zoos right now. Now, granted, this is not an AZA accredited zoo. So anybody who's watching it that loves zoos, please understand. I know it's not an AZA accredited zoo. This is a roadside zoo, but it's not the roadside zoos in the way people think about them. People think roadside zoos are these really dumpy little places with just some, cages stacked on them. It's not always the case. Natural Bridge Zoo has a nice entrance and it has a great presentation. It seems like it's a legitimate place, but this trial has taught us different and taught us an amazing insight into how do zoos operate. Okay, when we talk about zoos, a lot of times we're talking about in fullness, right? This one's bad, this one's good, this one has this problem. But what is happening behind a zoo? There's no way that any of them can be 100% at anything. It's just impossible. Too many variables. So what is the equation of animals that are well cared for versus not well cared for? Well, now in the Natural Bridge Zoo story, what happens is the county comes in, takes them. And then the zoo says, hey, wait. We actually want them all back. We didn't do anything wrong. Now, I find that fascinating because they really should have said, hey, you know what? We're going to do better. But instead, they denied all it was like they denied all accountability. So we know that the care of the animals is not their best interest. What ended up happening? 70 animals out of 100 stayed in county and are going to go to sanctuaries. 30 were returned. There is a big problem because there are giraffes that are in terrible condition that need to be moved, and those giraffes are stuck right now at Natural Bridge Zoo because they're impossible to move and in their condition. So right now they're trying to work in a way to get them to a sanctuary. So we can only hope. Besides, what is a giraffe doing in Virginia or the East Coast at all? Maybe we need to change our expectations that we should be able to just go down the street and see a giraffe. Maybe we need to retool what our demands are from our cities, states, and areas, and rethink our relationship to captivity and the animals around us. So again, fascinating story. We look at this place, you look at it, you could have driven by it and thought, gosh, I would, give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe 70% are well cared for, 30% aren't. It's interesting. In zoos, one thing we find is that everybody that talks about the zoos, when they talk about positivity, there's really only one thing they talk about, which are the vets. The vets are incredible. I mean, don't get me wrong. The zookeepers are also amazing. There are people that love animals that want to have a job helping and taking care of animals. But the vets are the stars. They're the rock stars. Now, if that is the best thing that they can do, thank you, Jeff. There we go. I'm out today. I don't have my full studio with me, so thank you for putting this on. 29 received adequate care, and 71, including the giraffes and tortoises, are going to remain in the possession because, again, it's a sliding scale. So we now know 70% of those animals were mistreated, 30% were potentially treated adequately. We can't say if it's well, but we know it's adequate. So this is an amazing peek behind the curtain. It's not an example. All zoos don't follow this same example, but for this particular one, imagine all the parents and all the kids that went there that thought they were doing something positive, but in fact, actually, we're continuing to perpetuate the torture that a lot of these animals were living under. So, fascinating case. Thank goodness it's done. Finally, it got deliberated on. Thank you, Jeff, for putting that up. I appreciate that because it's always amazing that we're seeing these changes. And you have to remember, if this can happen there, it can happen anywhere. And that's as far as care for the animals goes, but also that is the change that we can make, because people complaining created undercover investigative officers to go in and find out what was happening. People that take care of animals in this country do listen, they do care, and they will go investigate. And we can make a difference. It is important to be able to file complaints. We're going to go over that next week. I think it would be a nice tool for everybody to know how to, if you see something at the zoo that you're uncomfortable with, how to report it and make a change, because we have a voice and our voice is their voice, and we have to speak up when we see something wrong. And here we have a beautiful version of a victory, although I wish all 100. I wish the thing would have been shut down personally, because if you have a 70%, and you're getting a grade F, you get 30%, you got a grade A, it's not really like, should the facility be allowed to continue? That's a little bit weird, but it's still going to happen. And they get 30 animals back. It's, my feeling is, yeah, if 3/4 of your work is terrible, you had a little bit of work to do before you get those other fourths back. And we want them to be free anyway. We're more about animals being free as opposed to being in captivity, something we can change over time. But anyway, great news. The verdict finally came in. It was a lot of back and forth, legal back and forth. But again, a beautiful, beautiful story to show us that change can happen. You can affect change, and we can help all the animals that aren't able to go to court for themselves. So a great story. A sad story, but in the end, a great story that they were held accountable somewhat, and that we all got to see that the majority of what they do is just not good. So anyway, I want to see what you guys think about this. Do you think the other 30 animals should have been returned to the zoo, or do you think that they all should have been confiscated and the zoo shut down? Curious what your thoughts are. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Positive news, positive changes for at least 70 of those animals will now have a great life in a mellow sanctuary without being put on exhibit and without being having demands put on them where they have to move here and there. They're going to live out a way better life. So very great thing to think about. Have a positive day, everybody. Great to see you all. I'm out traveling a little bit, so it's been a challenge. But I want to get back into, we got to just keep talking every day and keep our community together. This is what this is. Let's all have coffee. Let's have a community. Let's talk about how we can help and save all the animals. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Stacy. It's good to see both of you guys. Two amazing animal warriors right here on this chat today. So thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you